Alright, what's up everybody? I'm going to be playing some more Angels with Scaly Wings today. I'm a little out of it today. You might be wondering, like, Prince, why the fuck are you streaming in the middle of the day on a weekday? Well, remember on the last stream I had mentioned that I had a sore throat? Well, it turns out I went to the doctor's this morning. It turns out I have a throat infection, so that's fun. So the doctor gave me some medication, so I'm a little out of it. Okay, but we're going to be streaming anyway. Angels with Scaly fucking Wings. Let's do it. So, I've still got, what, two characters endings to go through? Yeah, this medication he gave me, I think, was a little overkill, but whatever. Doctor's orders. Doctor's fucking orders, I guess. Gotta do what you gotta do. And, yeah, so don't mind me if I'm a little bit out of it today. Alright, so there we go. Yeah, we've got, what, 4 characters on the screen here. Continue your journey, Prince. Yeah, I kind of thought that, you know, because I woke up this morning and I was feeling like shit. And I ended up going to the doctor's, and he was like, "Oh, yep, you got a throat infection, so I'm on antibiotics and really strong ibuprofen and all that fun shit." So, yeah, I'm a little bit out of it. But anyway, we can skip all this, right? Yes, I want to skip everything. I need to talk with Lorem. So I remember I already met with him once, right? We already kind of went through his first segment. Okay, so I've got the guide here. I'm here now. You know what I hate? I hate it when, like, one game's louder than the other. Like, I swap between games, and it's like sometimes games are, like, obnoxiously loud, and then the next one it's, like, really quiet. Like, the last game was quiet. That Lego game, that was, like, pretty quiet, and this one it's, like, kind of loud. I had to turn the volume down. So... Oh, look at that. We already got 3 people showed up on the stream. Well, welcome, everybody. Whoever the fuck you are. Go ahead. Whatever you said, go right ahead. That sounds good to me. I have no idea what you said, but alright. Yeah, so I took the day off of work. It's probably for the best, because I kind of feel... I'm a little out of it. Just a little bit. Sounds interesting. Yes, I love video games. How did you know, Lorem? Like, this guy knows me so well. Feel a little deceived. The music's so good. Alright, we're gonna stay. I'm here for you, Lorem. I'm gonna get your damn ending so we can get the real, true ending of this game. Yeah, sore throats fucking suck, by the way. Good God. Every time I swallowed, it was like just a painful experience. Eating was a chore. Like, I tried to eat breakfast this morning. I couldn't. It was just so painful. Who knew that infections were painful? I certainly didn't. Alright, I'm sure of it. Whatever you said, I'm sure that you had good intentions behind your video game. Based on the truth. I'm with you. I'm with you on this, Lorem. We're gonna get through this, man. We are gonna do this. We're gonna make this fucking video game, man. We're gonna do it. Yes. It's my kind of game. That's what I need to tell him next. My kind of game. Is there any particular thing we need for the good ending? Get the Axeman Sphere. I think I already have that, don't I? Yes, I've got the little orb on the bottom right. Yeah, and I have the base for it too, right? That's that little hole-looking thing right below the orb. I think so. I think we should be good. It just says for his ending, I need to get the Oxman Sphere and the base finder. So I just need the whole set. I need the sphere and I need the base that holds the sphere. So we should this should be easy then. It even says on the guide, Lorem's easy to please, I think. Alright, so yeah, this should be pretty laid back. And then later on, if Dark's up for it, I'll definitely play a Lego game with him. Last time he said he'd be interested in that. That should be fun. And yeah, just see how this goes, I guess. Rub 2 sticks together. If you can rub 2 brain cells together, you can form a sentence too. Too bad I'm just skipping over everything he has to say. But I've already seen the scene, so there's no reason to go through it all again. And then I have to tell him that he knows what he's doing. Can't skip this. Why not? Yeah, I already heard him say all this. I thought about taking a nap, but I'm like, no. You know, I slept pretty good last night, despite the infection. I slept pretty good. I was like, no, I just want to play a little game, like a chill little game, and just kind of have a good time. I know what you're doing. So this, I think I can just say anything to him here. I don't think I want to tell him it sounds gross. That sounds kind of mean, right? We'll just say apparently. Okay. This should be interesting after this scene. I'm gonna try to do my best to voice act. I remember what I used to like voice act him. It's like a excited kid, right? Just a really excited kid. I have to tell him he knows what he's doing. When is that gonna be? Got some elevator music playing right now. What the fuck is this? some cafe music, that's for sure. It seems like you know what you're doing. He likes to think so. I think we all like to think we know what we're doing, but a lot of the time I sure as hell don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing right now, but we're gonna get through it. Should be more careful. No, that sounds unpleasant. I don't remember what he said, but something about him ripping letters or something with his claws, I think. I can see why. Jesus Christ, he talks a lot. Oh my god, we finally got through it. More free time. Okay, we'll just get some rest then. Gonna need all the rest we can get. We're gonna sit through this. Chapter 2. Duty. Call of Duty 3. Yes, I'm gonna be continuing that at some point too. Far too out of it to be playing a first-person shooter, though, I'll tell you that much. Feeling a little funny today. A little funny. Yeah, just skip. We don't need to see the same thing 8 more times. Do I have to do this? I don't know how to get to his, Oh, geez. I think I have to go through this, then. Let's visit the park. It's so nice out, right? Well, I gotta search the Pavilion, I think, right? But I already got everything, so there's really... Okay, whatever. We're just gonna say that's it for that. Let's go to the store. Okay. Alright. No, we're good. We've done everything here. Yes, I want to skip. Thank God we can skip. Ooh, boy. Hello, I had some time to work through the stuff you told me, and now would be the perfect time to get some pictures of you. If you're not busy with anything else, it would be great if you could come over sometime. So, see you soon? Maybe. Yes, we've got the second meeting with Lorem. Okay, so this is his apartment. Alright. It's very, a very cool looking apartment. Very cool colors. The blue, the white. Honestly, I can't believe you agreed to do this again. My pleasure. Now that I've had a chance to work through everything from last time, we can do some real work. Sounds great. I did a staggering amount of research on mythical humans. Here, let me show you some of the stuff I found. Sure. Sat down at the coffee table, Lorem opened up a laptop and started to type away. How can he type on a laptop with his claws, though? That sounds like he probably has scratches all over his computer. Seeing the laptop brought back memories. In our world, they had become obsolete a long time ago. Why? What do they use now? Virtual reality? You know, they got eyeglasses now where you literally have screens that display in front of your face. That's pretty wild. Before I show you these images, I should probably tell you that some of them are really weird. Just don't take them the wrong way. Oh god, you're gonna show us porn? Lorem, no! You already told me about the four-headed human, so I think I can handle this. Alright. What the hell is that thing? It's the lizard people. They've come to invade. He looks friendly. This one is supposed to be one of our ancestors. Ancestors? Well, it does remind me of some of the dragons I've seen here. I'm not sure what humans have to do with this. You remember the myth about a creator turning into a dragon, right? This one we can answer, however. We'll just say yeah. Now here's an interesting question. What species did that human turn into? There are a number of dragon species nowadays that aren't genetically compatible with each other. Did the human choose one of them? Did they perhaps procreate? A shared ancestor is one option. This would mean that the different species split after the humans' involvement in our creation. If human DNA was involved in some way, this might explain how our different species came to be. Take a far ancestor of ours and apply various amounts of human DNA. The result would be a number of different species, each with a different amount of resemblance to humans. Interesting. Now it has been said that an upright stance and being able to walk on two legs is a more human trait. Yeah, right. In any case, it's one of the things that makes humans unique. As a result, some people believe that certain species share more traits with humans than others. You think it makes them more noble or something. Luckily, this doesn't happen often. You can walk on two legs as well, right? I was just thinking that, like, well, he's walking on two legs. Sure, in this theory of shared human DNA, this puts me somewhere in the middle, since I still have wings and horns. I can see that. Here, look at this one. What the hell is that supposed to be? What the fuck is that? Like, what is he wearing? Fucking carpet or something? The fuck was that? What's with the little horns? Since we don't know what the original human looked like, we can't exactly define which traits separate us from them. As a result, our interpretations of humans can vary widely. I'm not sure he's a particular friendly one, though. Actually, I think this is supposed to be a human female. That's a human female. Oh, God. It's like James Campbell's wife. Oh, no. Oh, no. Lorem, no. Wow, he sure knows how to pick the human females, let me tell you. There are some that don't think humans are friendly at all, though. Really? So far, I've only heard positive things about us. Some interpretations of our myths don't exactly paint you in the best light. There are also people who oppose the idea of human worship and what their involvement has meant for us. In what way? They say the human interference was unnatural and that we need to get back to our roots. And how do they think that they can do that? Apparently, it means refusing to use modern technology and living in caves or the wilderness again, like an animal. Pretty much, most of us think those people are crazy, though. Well, as long as they aren't hurting anyone. So they're the Amish, then. They don't like technology. Alright. They're harmless, really. You probably won't see one of them around here anyway. This is an interesting style, though. Do you know how those pictures were made? No, I'm not sure what information was provided when I looked them up in the library, but I didn't copy all of that. And you're using these as references? I make do with what I can get. Maybe now you can see why I wanted your help, though. Alright, what do you need me to do? I just want to make some quick sketches. You can stand over there by the wall. Okay, I can certainly do that. Walked up to the spot he indicated. When I took my place, I saw that he had laid out a number of pens, paper, and other art supplies on the table. Oh, this is going to take a while, isn't it? I'll try to be quick about it. Do you want me to strike a pose or something? No, just take your clothes off. No, I'm just kidding. He says, a T-pose should be good to get started. What's that? How do you not know what a T-pose is? Haven't you ever played a video game before? You'll see all these buggy-ass games they'll be T-posing. Like, haven't you ever played Cyberpunk before, dude? What the fuck? I don't know what a T-pose is. Give me a break, man. Just point your arms sideways so you look like a giant T. Oh, I get it. Raising my arms to the sides, I wondered how long this would take. Great. Now try to stay as still as possible. Can I still talk? No, you must be silent. No. Sure, as long as you don't talk with your arms. As I wasn't allowed to move my head, I stared at Lorem sketching my figure. This went on for a few minutes until I suddenly heard the sound of a door opening. He just comes in uninvited, I guess. Okay, well just make yourself at home. Hey, Lorem. Oh, right, the human is going to visit today. I totally forgot about that. You don't mind if I take a seat, right? You just want to study prints. Like you aren't doing that right now? Besides, this room is mine as much as it is yours. I'll just watch and be quiet. Also, he's his roommate. Okay. I thought you had experiments to run. And they are running. I'd rather not be confined to my tiny room for the next 2 hours, staring at the ceiling and waiting for them to finish. But no experiments on prints. Yes, I'll just sit here, and maybe take a few notes. I'm sorry, Prince. This is my roommate and longtime best friend, Ipsum. Ipsum? Okay, I guess Ipsum. Nice to meet you, Ipsum. What kind of name is Ipsum? These characters, some of these characters have very strange names. Very unique. His scientific bluntness may be off-putting, so please bear with him. Speak for yourself. So much for those two being best friends. Lorem returned to his drawing, the silence only being interrupted by the strokes of his pen. Something interesting happened at work today. Did they finally figure out it was you who was playing all those pranks? No, they'll never catch me. I was talking with a colleague about the humans here, and I offhandedly mentioned that Prince was going to come over. I don't like where this is going. Some hours later, Anna barges into my office and says Prince is off limits to anyone besides her as far as tests and experiments are concerned. Well, I'm not taking any samples. I could hardly be blamed for just looking at Prince. Yes, but that makes me wonder. Prince, did you agree to visit her and undergo her rigorous testing regimen? No, I didn't, actually. Not in this playthrough. I did in another playthrough, right? When we got Anna's ending. But I didn't this time. But it doesn't say you can answer however you want. No, certainly not. I didn't, not in this playthrough. Evidently, she thinks otherwise. Oh, and Lorem, have you seen my X-Men sphere recently? Didn't you take it with you when you went to the park the other day? Yes, I did. Well, that's the last time I saw it. I must have lost it then. I already searched the whole apartment. Did you go into my room? No. Maybe someone found it. I had it registered in my name when I got it, so if anyone found it, it should show up sooner or later. I remembered the sphere that I had found in the park. I dug into my pocket to show it to them. Wait a minute, are you talking about... Hey, no moving around! Quickly, I extended my arms again to make a perfect T-pose. Sorry, I just found something in the park recently that may or may not be your X-Men sphere. Where is it? Probably in one of my pockets. At these words, Upsum got up and walked over to me. He's just gonna pat me down? So much for just sitting quietly in the corner and letting me work in peace. We're talking about a very expensive piece of equipment here. Just give it to him, Prince. I searched my pockets and looked for the sphere to no avail. Huh, it's not here. So you don't have it after all? What kind of cruel joke are you playing here? I must have left it in my apartment. What a shame. I could fetch it after we're done with this. It would be better if you just handed it to the police. After all, we don't even know if it is my sphere that you found. Either way, the police should be able to verify it and locate its owner. Alright. What is an X-Men sphere anyway? It's just a glorified toy for grown-ups, really. You have no idea what you are talking about. An X-Men sphere is a very sophisticated tool with a countless number of uses. Like what? It can levitate and follow you around, take photos. You can even use it as a calculator. Making it a glorified toy for grown-ups. I use it for my experiments. Well, if they can take photos, I wouldn't need to stand around like this. That is, if we had it here now. It is a great companion for all situations in life. So they're literally describing a smartphone right now. It's much easier to draw from a live model than from a photo, though. Easier for you, maybe. I hope this doesn't take much longer, because my arms went numb a while ago. Yeah, I think you can relax for now. I'm nearly done with this one. A tingling sensation went up my arms as I relaxed. Slowly, I began to regain feeling in them. Alright, now turn around. I thought we were done already. Not unless we want our humans to lack a backside. So that's what this is all about. Ugh, you know what I mean. I know exactly what you mean. Isn't it my turn to draw you now? That's not how it works. I wouldn't mind getting a portrait of myself. I can already see it, the light spinning from above, caressing my luscious mane, highlighting each lock as they interplay. This is going to be a long day. That depends on how fast you are. As I was now facing the wall, I couldn't see what Lorem and Ipsum were doing. After a few seconds of silence, I heard some whispering coming from the couch. What are you talking about? I didn't want to be rude, but I was just curious about your vestments. He said, and I quote, "This would be more interesting if it wasn't for those clothes Prince is wearing." Oh my god, I knew it! They want me naked. What the fuck is this? Oh boy. So, do I need to respond here? Sounds interesting, same as mine. No, I don't think so. Okay, so I can answer however I want here. Coming here was a very bad idea. I see how it is, or really, I'm just gonna be neutral. I see how it is. I'm just saying it would be hard to study an insect if there was a piece of cloth draped over it. Wearing that much just seems odd to me. If humans wear clothes like this, it's only appropriate to depict them as such. And my scientific curiosity shall remain unsatisfied. Because Prince is not here to do that. Well, I just gotta... Oh, okay, Heavy Metal Gamer Show just liked my tweet. I responded to what he said earlier. Anyway, because Prince is not here to do that, and you would get in big trouble with Anna. We actually have a pretty big variety of vestments I could tell you about. Sounds good, but not right now. I have to finish this up first. Alright. So, Ipsum, I've heard a lot about experiments in science now, but what do you actually do? I work in the facility as a biologist with a minor in physics. In addition to the office, I also have my own setup here at home. I assure you, it's properly isolated from the rest of our apartment. It even has a fume hood to prevent accidents. But I only use it for the smallest of experiments, usually things unrelated to my job. Sounds interesting. Don't get him started, or we won't hear the end of it. Maybe you would like to talk about your hobby instead, Lorem. Isn't this already a hobby? I guess you could say so. I was talking about his other hobby, though. Oh, that. I don't know. It's a little embarrassing, to be honest. There's no need to be embarrassed about your hobbies. He likes flowers. Once he even made a crown out of daisies. Cutest thing in the world. Don't listen to him. As usual, he only tells half the story. What's the other half, then? I have an extensive love for botany? Botany? What? I don't even know what that is. The fern he keeps in his room must be the happiest plant alive. I find gardening to be very relaxing, especially when the birds are singing in the morning. It's so nice to go out there with a nice cup of tea and work in the garden of our apartment building. Which reminds me, Ipsum here has quite an extensive tea collection, although I'm not sure if he prefers to hoard tea or gadgets. It's a mystery. Oh man, he is British all the way. See, I knew doing the UK accent for these people was a good idea. He even drinks tea. I mean, come on. I heard there was going to be a model of the X-Men sphere that can actually make tea. That's going to be a must-buy. And it also makes cups, or are you supposed to sip it out of the sphere itself? Don't be silly. You two sound just like an old couple. Couple? Us? Not really. Not really. We've known each other for a long time, though, if that counts. I think it does. By the way, Ipsum, you're not from here, right? What is that supposed to mean? Well, you look nothing like any other dragon I've seen here so far. I suppose that's true for Lorem as well. You're both pretty small. But you, Ipsum, also have hair that's certainly new. It's not as unusual as you might think, but you're right, there aren't many of us in these parts. I imagine being smaller than the rest of the population would come with its own challenges. It's not that big of a deal. If something is unreachable for me, I can fly. This apartment was actually intended to house one dragon of a bigger size. That not only makes it fairly cheap, but it's also big enough for both of us. There's one thing I've been wondering. How do you even sit in one of those chairs? Wouldn't the backrest cause problems with your tails? I see what you mean. For me, it's never been a problem, because most chairs are bigger than I am. Damn, he really is small. It's just a question of getting into the right position. However, this might be different from those of us who mostly walk on 4 legs, but they usually don't use chairs like these at all. I've seen a few try, though. I suppose they want to imitate humans this way. Even if they can't stand or walk like a human, they can try to sit like one. With varying results. Some I've seen looked really funny, trying to fit in chairs they are way too big for, or sitting in odd ways that clearly don't work with their autonomy. I see. Lorem, you asked me about breath weapons last time, but I don't think you ever told me if you had one. Probably because it isn't worth mentioning. It may only be a very small flame, but it can get very hot. What about you, Ipsum? Yes, Ipsum, what about you? My breath weapon is elocution, since words are more powerful than anything else. Okay. Same as mine, then. Alright, I'm done with this one. You can turn around. Really? But staring at the wall was so much fun. Let's make one more. Maybe something dynamic. How dynamic are we talking about? Something that isn't static like the reference models I just did. You can strike a pose. Something that's just you. Alright. What kind of pose should I go for? I can either say a normal pose, a thoughtful pose, or a swimwear pose. And looks like we can choose whichever one we want. We'll do a thoughtful pose. Alright, what about this? Works for me. By the way, did you get the groceries when you came home from work? Yes, just as usual. Are you too sure you're not in a relationship? I certainly am. Actually, Ipsum is deeply in love with his home laboratory. Oh, really? I'm not even going to deny that. When I'm not working on something at the office, I do so here. What are you currently working on? I've been looking into the physics of teleportation. You're talking about the portal, right? Well, I don't have permission to even approach the portal, so I have to resort to a theoretical discussion on its mechanics and make do with what I can pull off in my home laboratory. Maybe I can tell you a few things. That won't be necessary. I have already read all the available test reports. Okay. Are you aware that using the portal could be incredibly dangerous? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Then you don't have a complete understanding of what the portal actually does and what it means for our world at large. In order for a portal to function, a natural wormhole is required. It is trapped and becomes the portal's entry. The portal manipulates the wormhole's exit. This way, something can be set to whichever destination is chosen. Now, there is a theory about the purpose of the natural wormholes in the universe. It states that they act as the support pillars of the space-time continuum. How so? How should I explain this? I think the video game analogy worked pretty well. Sure, in a video game, what happens when you meet the edge of a map? You hit a wall? That happens in some games, but in others, you reappear on the opposite side. Right. How does this happen? If our world was a perfect sphere, someone could just keep flying in the same direction, and eventually, they would end up at their starting point again. Sure. This is just a result of physics. In the abstraction of a video game, however, it doesn't work like that. They don't try to replicate a spherical world, but use a 2D plane instead. This is getting confusing. Now, I don't think it's confusing. It makes sense to me. Like when you're playing Pac-Man and you go on the other side of the map and you reappear on the other side. I mean, you have to, right? Because it's on a 2D field and it's very limited, right? Imagine a piece of paper with a world map printed on it, right? Well, it shows the entirety of the world. It's still just a it's still just a simple, flat piece of paper rather than a sphere, right? Sure. Let us assume that in a game, a world map looks like that. Now, what happens when we approach the edge and walk over to it? Is that we are teleported to the other side. Okay. It doesn't actually make the game world a sphere, but rather a torus. A torus? Yes, a Ford Taurus. You know, like a donut. If that's the comparison you want to make, okay. Now, things are going to get really complicated. Are you familiar with the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics or quantum mechanics? Let's say I'm not. It states that every single time a choice is made by an actor that possesses free will, the universe splits off into different branches. This means that for every choice you have made, there exists a branch of the universe where you made a different decision. I see. Now, we can't communicate with these other branches in any way. You don't know what would happen if you made a different decision just this morning. Oh yeah, that's trippy to think about that, man. Like, all the different scenarios that could take place in life. Like, what happens if you would have did this? And this game's whole mechanic is just based around that whole idea, right? Like, what happens if you say this to this character instead of this? You know? Oh man, that's the kind of shit that just keeps you up at night. If you just start thinking about choices you've made and what you could have done differently, right? Oh boy. You could make an educated guess, but the only person who truly knows what would happen in this alternate is that alternate you who has made that decision and is living its consequences. That is, unless we could communicate with those other branches. But wouldn't that create a time paradox, though, if that ended up happening, if that's even actually a thing? I feel like that would just create a time paradox at that point. Anyway, he says, however, there is a barrier that prevents us from doing that. This barrier is made up of wormholes. How does that work? It is very similar to the torus world model that is used in games. As we approach the edge of our own world, the barrier causes us to end up on the other side again, instead. Does this mean we get teleported to the other side like in video games? Not necessarily. It would be just as correct to assume that our universe is shaped like a torus. So, which is it then? Do we get teleported or not? That depends on how you look at the wormhole's function. Imagine this sheet of paper is the entirety of our world. He took a sheet of paper from Lauren's stack and showed it to me, marking a spot near the edge with a pen. And this is where you live. Unfortunately, your place is here, on the other side. He drew an X close to the right edge of the paper. If the world was flat, that would be very unfortunate. However, if the world was a torus, the left and right edges would be connected. You could take the shorter route to work by going over the edge. Now, let's say that this is only possible because wormholes connect these two edges together. If you happen to be right at the very edge and look beyond, everything would look perfectly fine for you. Given that these wormholes stay in their place, you would never know that the world is actually flat, and that you can only travel to the other side because the wormholes connect the edges. You would think that the world is a torus, right? However, what if the wormholes don't actually bring you to the other side by teleporting you, but instead just bend the paper into a torus shape and hold the edges together? If these wormholes failed or were displaced, the paper would unfold, throwing the world into disarray. That's what the wormholes and the barrier actually do. They are what hold everything together. So they're really more like glue. If it wasn't for them, the overall construct would collapse in on itself. What construct? The entirety of space-time. Now, if these theories are true, that would mean using a portal damages the barrier. Each time the portal is activated, the wormhole used for the teleportation is displaced, leaving a small gap where it used to be. Do this too often, and the overall system will destabilize eventually. Alright, maybe you shouldn't talk about your theories about how the world is going to end. Nothing is going to happen because the portal was used a few times. I just hope humanity is aware of its implications. Maybe we can collaborate. I certainly hope so. Your researchers seem to know what they're doing. I just wish I could be part of it. With everything that's going on, the future looks incredibly exciting. What do you think is going to happen, Ipsum? Now you'll get him started. Don't say I didn't warn you. The knowledge contained within your PDAs could propel an innovation forward by unseen lengths, meaning a lot more experiments for you to do, which would be terribly exciting. Personally, I'm more interested in the social implications. What do you mean? I don't expect there to just be a back and forth of ambassadors forever. Are you talking about colonies? Oh, I bet Lorem would jump at the opportunity to live in the human world. I'm not sure if that would be a good idea. Why not? Obviously, such an endeavor would need a lot of preparation. We would need to learn about their culture and adjust appropriately. I'd expect we'd send an ambassador over there long before that will happen, though. We hardly know anything about their world. Everything's still up in the air as far as diplomatic relations go. We have no idea what this situation could be like in just a week. Yes, and it's also incredibly exciting. Don't get too excited, though, or else you're going to ruin your drawing. It's almost done anyway. Here, what do you think? Lorem leaned over, holding up the paper to Ipsum. Ipsum looked at the paper closely, his gaze shifting back and forth between me and the paper several times. After a few seconds, he seemed to be finished with his evaluation. As a scientist, my professional opinion is that this part looks a little long. He pointed his sharp claw at the part of the paper Lorem was holding. Are you sure? Let me see. If I wasn't sure, I wouldn't have said it. I think you're right. That I am. Lorem reached for his eraser, purging a few lines from the paper before he switched to his pen again. And it's done. See? What would you ever do without me? I don't think I'd hear as many explosions in the middle of the night. You were happy about it when you forgot to set your alarm that one time. Suddenly, the sound of an alarm resounded throughout the room. Oh, my experiment is done. And there he goes. Charming fellow, isn't he? He sounds fun. He certainly keeps things interesting around here, and he's a good art critic. I can imagine. Anyway, looks like we're done here. Phew, feels good being able to move again. Would you like to stay for dinner? It'd be the least I can do to compensate for your lost afternoon. Let me see, what time is it? It's getting late and I probably shouldn't stay out this long. Looks like I'll have to decline for now. I see. Well, I gotta do something for you at least. It was my pleasure, minus having to stay still for the whole time. This was actually quite fun. How about I invite you again then? Sure, works for me. I'll think of something special. Just give me a call sometime and we'll figure out the rest. Sure, bye. Alright. So it says, if you don't go treasure hunting with Lorem and haven't seen his good ending yet. Chapter 4. So he's going to take us out again, and I guess there's nothing to say for this part. So I guess we'll just spend the day reading. Yeah, because we're going to be going to Chapter 3, right? So we should be good. Intuition, Chapter 3. Here we go again. Yes, I want to skip ahead. Okay, I don't think this matters, right? Yeah, I don't think it matters at all. Let's go to the police archives. Now, I already helped you the first playthrough. Get out of here. Is there anything in this trash? No. I guess we'll just study the blueprint. I don't think it matters, but we'll do it anyway. What happens if you go to the portal? path I took was a familiar one by now. Even with night falling, it was easy for me to find my way around. Long, grotesque shadows stretched before me, and the atmosphere was eerie and dangerous. I couldn't tell if it was because of the evening shroud of darkness or if the urgent situation tugging at my mind had twisted my perception. I made it past the village border and pressed on. There was still a fair distance to go. Suddenly, gloved hands grabbed me from behind, clumping over my mouth. I couldn't make a sound. From what I could see, it was the same hooded figure I had met in the maintenance room after the second murder. It's too late. Maverick arrived before you did, and he'll make sure that no one uses the portal today. Don't follow me. I was shoved to the ground, and before I could regain my composure, the figure vanished into the darkness. If Maverick was still in the area, it was not a good idea to stay here. I wouldn't want to fuel his suspicions or worse. I figured it was time to go back to the police department anyway. You tried to go to the portal, unsuccessfully, I might add. Reckless. Go to the portal. So you get an achievement for doing it. I was curious what would happen. I didn't think it would be anything substantial. Alright, we'll just skip over here. Okay. Hey, Prince, guess what? We're going treasure hunting. So put on a robe and your best treasure hunting hat and let's get going. Seriously, call me back when you hear this. Okay. Alright, we're going treasure hunting with Lorem. Let's do it. Alright, hey Lorem. Hey Prince. So, where exactly are we going? You mentioned something about treasure hunting. But don't tell me we're actually trying to unearth some ancient human artifacts. Don't worry, this is gonna be fun. I'll just hope for the best. I'm not sure who came up with it, but someone gave this kit to me as a present a few months ago. He showed me the map. It was a piece of paper that had obviously been treated to look much older than it really was. So I guess, again, I could say whatever I want here. It doesn't look like much, or sounds like fun. Sounds like fun. I'm glad you agree. I'm not sure if I can be of much assistance, though. I don't exactly know much about the area. But you're big and strong. Or at least you are bigger and stronger than I am. You can do the digging. Great. Besides, I've wanted to do this for a while now, and Nipsum is always busy, so I figured this would be as good a time as any. Do we need to bring a shovel, or do you expect me to dig with my bare hands? Well, the instructions say we only need this map and a pen. Well, I've got a pen. Is that a good start? Great, then we're all set. So, where are we supposed to go? If this is the facility, then the place indicated is the school, or rather, somewhere between the school and the administrative building. Let's go then. Here we are. The X on the map is right between these two buildings, so it must be around here somewhere. Back to school, huh? Not quite yet. Everyone's on summer break right now. Which is a good thing, because we really wouldn't want to get swarmed by all the children. They would go crazy if they saw you. How does school work here, anyway? Are you talking about this one, or schools in general? In general. I'd like to know more about how your school system works as a whole. I see you won't let a learning opportunity go by. I'm just doing my job. You should start looking for that treasure then. Sure. While I looked for hints as to the treasure's whereabouts, Lorem started talking. Right, we do have quite the education system. Different schools and districts run on their own. So when looking at details, things can vary a lot. However, there are a few things that are true no matter which region you are in. Compulsory education lasts for about 10 years. There are a lot of options for schools and school systems. Choice is an important factor here. We recognize that there isn't one system that works best for everyone, so there are many options depending on what path you want to take. That doesn't sound too different from what it used to be like in my world, but nowadays things are a bit more chaotic. Practical skills are valued most in our city, but you aren't really given a choice to do anything else. Sure, people can learn other things on their own, but it's not as if school is mandatory anymore. People just do whatever they feel like. Did you grow up like that too? No, I still got to experience our old education system, college included. What was your favorite subject? We'll say art. Really? Me too. I always like trying out different mediums. I tried sculpting again recently. What for? Art doesn't need a justification. But anyway, it helps me visualize what the characters in my game should look like. Can't you do that with a computer? Sure, but working with a physical media makes things easier for me. Instead of working with an interface, there's only my hands and a lump of clay. No technological gadgets required. I see. Did you find anything yet? I sure haven't. No, I feel like we must be missing something. Maybe, but the map clearly marked this place. You can see it for yourself. Yeah, the X definitely points to this alley. Then it must be here somewhere. What about the walls? Maybe there's something in the wall. Maybe it has something to do with the walls. What makes you think so? We're clearly missing something here, so maybe there is some sort of hint we've been overlooking. Something that would be obvious to anyone else who came through here. That wouldn't be obvious to anyone else who came through here. I have no idea what you're talking about. These walls don't really look special to me. My gaze slowly went along the walls, trying to find something, anything, that could have a hidden meaning. Hey, look at that. What do you mean? This kind of looks like an X on the wall, don't you think? I guess so. Maybe it's here somewhere. Look, there! Lorem crouched down and stuck his hand in an indentation that ran along the wall near the ground. Aha! What is it? He pulled out a cylindrical, shiny object and held it up to me. It looks like some sort of capsule. Maybe there's something inside. That's going to be a pretty small treasure. He screwed it open and held the two halves of the cylindrical object to his hands. To our surprise, it didn't have any empty space on the inside. Nothing could be hidden within. Instead, the inside of the two halves were engraved. What does it say? 2J. That's it? Yup. It's also on the other half. It might be coordinates. The grid on the map had numbers and letters like that. That means 2J would be here, right in the middle of a forest. Let's go. Finding our spot might be a bit more difficult from here on out. Why is that? We don't really have buildings and addresses as reference anymore. Here we only have a spot in the middle of a forest. Don't worry, I have an excellent sense of navigation. Let's hope we find it before it gets too dark though, or things might become a lot more complicated. I'd rather not get lost here. You won't have to worry about anything. If there are any predators in the area, they'll see me as a better target than you. Don't tell me there are predators in these woods. Not really. There might be a stray or two, but that should be it. These woods are considered to be very safe. Even if that's true, and if worse comes to worse, you can just fly away. I guess that's true. You kind of sound like you don't like the woods, though. I like going for walks in the woods as long as it's safe or they're creepy. Yeah, I like going for walks. Then you don't have anything to worry about here. I already told you. There shouldn't really be any predators in these parts. And it's not like these woods are haunted or anything. Haunted? That reminds me of something. What is it? Maybe you'll be interested in this. In our world, there's a forest that was notorious for the many suicides that took place there. Oh my god, yeah, that's that, he's talking about that park in Japan, the one that dipshit, YouTuber went and filmed, the suicide forest. And he got a slap on the wrist from YouTube. Yeah, that was funny. It was said to be haunted by angry spirits. That sounds horrible. Why are there so many suicides there? And why are the spirits so angry? Well, in Japanese folklore, people have a soul or spirit that is called reikin. Upon a person's death, the reikin separates from the body and goes to a form of purgatory. After certain rites have been performed, the reikin then goes on to join its ancestors and becomes a protector of the living family. However, under certain circumstances, like the rites not being performed correctly or dying in a sudden or violent manner, the reikin transforms into a yuri instead. The yuri can return to the physical world and haunts it until it has been laid to rest. So there you go, another myth for your collection. Well, I know where not to go for my next vacation now. I wouldn't want to visit either. That makes two of us. What do you think about stuff like that? Paranormal stuff? You know, until a few weeks ago, humans were still just a myth. And if we look at the portal, it's like something that came out of science fiction. Ipsum certainly seemed interested in it. He is. He actually read up on some new theories about it. Like what? You remember him telling you about the different branches and how the barrier separates them, right? Yeah. So, since the barrier is made up of wormholes and using the portal displaces them, it leaves gaps in the barrier. I distinctly remember him talking about something like that. Through these gaps, he thinks we can communicate with our alternate selves in the other timelines. How does that work? It all goes into the nature of existence itself. Who are you as a person? Do you think you are just the prince from this branch? What about the ones from all the other timelines who have made other decisions? Would you consider yourself to be the same person as them? The only difference between you and the prince from another branch may be that you decided to skip breakfast this morning. Maybe you are all of them. How is that possible? Like a seed from which many roots can sprout, or a tree and its branches, there may be a uniting factor that branched off into these different timelines, your fundamental nature. You might call it a soul or something similar, but the idea is that even though there are many different versions of you, there's an aspect that unites all of you. A part of myself that stands over me, kind of like a superego. An interesting comparison. If we use a similar model here, then we can say that you are also made up of three distinct parts. In each timeline, you have a physical body which is driven by its own base desires that it seeks to fulfill. All physical needs like hunger, thirst, and even breathing fall under this category. However, as a being with free will, you're also capable of making your own decisions. That includes being able to act contrary to what your body is telling you. The ability to think and make decisions on your own is your rational mind, the self. And lastly, there's the third part I just talked about, the one that stands above all of you and unites you in some way. Let's call this your higher self. Through this higher self, you may be able to communicate with your alternate selves in some way. Usually the barrier would prevent this, but through the gaps, communication becomes a possibility. The more gaps there are, the easier this should be. And how would I go about doing that? I suppose that would be the job of the higher self. So I can't control it? These are all just theories. We wouldn't really know until it happened. Only then could we study it. If it was to happen, how would I know? If someone else's experience gets relayed through this connection to you, it could manifest in a number of ways. So he's pretty much describing what we're probably going to encounter in the last ending of the game, right? This seems way too detailed for an ending to not have some kind of connection to this game, considering the whole game is playing around with this whole idea in the first place. Maybe it could be something like a deja vu or false memory, maybe even dreams. But the biggest difficulty would be to recognize that this phenomenon is happening in the first place. It's certainly quite out there, you have to admit. Sure, but quantum mechanics are already complicated enough. Once you look at what lies beyond, it's just crazy territory. What do you think about all this? I think it might already be happening. Really? Just think about it. If the possibility of it ever happening is there, then it's more than likely that it already has. I'm not sure I follow. Let us assume that this is an average timeline. The portals have been found by both of our people, contact has been made, and now you and Raza are both here for a visit. A few letters were exchanged before you and Raza were sent here, so that means the portal has already been used a few times. Using a portal once might only have an infinitely small effect on the barrier, like poking a hole in a castle wall with a needle. However, if you multiply this by a nearly infinite number of possible timelines in which these same events have happened, the effects must already be noticeable. Of course, some people may be more susceptible to this than others. You think you've already experienced it? I don't know. I've been having some weird dreams lately. Dreams can always be weird, though. Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna say that. Dreams can always be weird. I know, it's just... I don't know. So he just kind of gets his gut feeling like he's kind of subconsciously remembering things in a different timeline or something, I guess. Okay, it's interesting. We were just entering a clearing, and from my view, I could see some odd lines that had been drawn on the ground. Hey, I think this is the spot. Why do you think so? Well, the giant X on the ground kinda gives it away. Loram took flight with a few flaps of his wings. After looking at the scenery from above, he returned to me. You're right, it does look like a giant X. Guess it's time to get our hands dirty. That may not be necessary. What are you talking about? He went to the center where the lines crossed and picked up an object that was lodged halfway in the ground. He returned to me once more, holding another capsule similar to the one we had found near the school. If we have to go back to town after walking all this way, I'll... And it's open. Apparently we're going to 6K now. And where is that? There's an abandoned store on the other side of the forest. That's where we're going. That just means the way back is going to be even longer. Are you sure we should even be here? This is the place indicated by the map. I was talking about the building being roped off. Maybe that's just part of the game. Is the flooding part of the game too? Hey, you can give up if you want to. I certainly won't. Now, are you going to help me or not? I guess. I just didn't expect that we'd have to get wet for this. All part of being a treasure hunter. Let's just look for the X. Sure. Loram flew up to the light fixtures to get a view from above while I checked out the shelves. I remember we can still shop here. What happened? Apparently the area has a problem with flooding. I can see that. So much work and resources are needing to erect a building like this one, and in the end it just gets abandoned. We have plenty of empty buildings where I come from. Oh really? Not sure if this is a good reminder of home though. At least we don't have a problem with flooding. I nearly got sent back, by the way. Really? Why? Political reasons. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it. You just did. Is it related to that announcement they made about Raza? Maybe. Huh. Guess things are pretty serious. They are. Have you found anything yet? Not really. Maybe it's underwater. You think so? It's certainly not anywhere near the ceiling. I already checked there. And I found nothing near the walls or the shelves. It could be hidden beneath a floor tile or something like that. I suppose you're right. Let's do it. Alright. Without hesitation, Loram vanished beneath the water's surface. I breathed in deeply, crouched down, and began looking underwater as well. I looked around, but nothing seemed out of the ordinary to me. Just as I was about to resurface and get some air, I heard a splash accompanied by a loud thud. What was that? Loram? Everything was quiet as I looked around for my companion. Suddenly I heard frantic knocks coming from a shelf that was laying on the ground, half submerged in the water. I realized it was still standing when we came in earlier. As I wandered over to it, it soon became clear that the knocks were coming from beneath. Loram? Quickly, I mustered all my strength and grabbed the shelf, lifting it up until it fell over to the other side with a loud splash. Loram resurfaced, gasping for breath. What just happened? I was looking underwater and suddenly the shelf just came down on top of me. Are you okay? Yeah, I think so. My leg hurts a bit, but that's about it. But I totally saw something. Let me show you. Without waiting for a reply, Loram dove down into the water again, resurfacing just a few seconds later, holding an ominous metal box that had a large X on it. This should be it. Let's hope it's waterproof, though. From the looks of it, it is. We should go outside, though. It'll be hard to read anything in here. Sure. Well, what's inside? Loram held the box up to me. I took one of the sheets of paper that were inside and started reading. I think these are just pizza vouchers. Loram was holding another sheet which he started reading aloud. Congratulations! You have solved Pintola Pizza's annual treasure hunt. Remember the code word enclosed for an instant rebate on your next order and a chance for the grand prize. You could be the lucky winner for a year's supply of Pintola's Pizza. This competition will run until... Oh, what is it? It's expired. The treasure hunt, the contest, apparently it all ended months ago. Can we still get the pizza? Well, I don't think that offer is still valid. I mean, we could still get pizza regardless. This whole thing has made me really hungry. I suppose this concludes our treasure hunt. What do we do now? Maybe we could see this experience as another reminder that the journey is its own reward, or that the early bird gets the worm. You really want some pizza, don't you? That makes me wonder, though. Why didn't they get rid of the hints in this box when the contest expired? They must have realized that people may still have these kits at home, even when the contest is over. If people went out looking for a hint in the woods and it wasn't there anymore, they might look for hours until they decided there was nothing to find. Or they just didn't care. You know, I'm slowly starting to lose hope in Patella's Pizza. Sending us here is really negligent. Who knows what would have happened to you if I wasn't here? Maybe this whole building could crash down on the next unlucky people who end up here. Maybe that's why it was roped off in the first place. But you thought it was part of the game. Maybe they should have put up a sign or something. While I was talking, Lorem walked towards one of the wooden poles that was used to rope off the building. He picked up a large rectangular object from the ground that was hidden in the grass. It was a wooden sign. Warning, do not proceed past this point. The treasure hunt has concluded and there is nothing more to find. Danger ahead. We could find the treasure, but not this huge sign. What does that say about us? I'm not sure exactly. We should probably head back before it gets too dark, though. We still have to go through the woods again. Alright, let's go. You want to pick up some pizza on the way home? I don't know. All that effort, all that work for nothing. Looks like I have some free time today. Let's just get some rest. And we'll see what happens in this next part. You decided not to meet anyone or investigate for the 10th time. Who cares? Lazy. I'm definitely feeling pretty lazy today, I'll admit. Oh, Chapter 4. I woke with my... Oh yeah, we already done this. Okay. Skip ahead. I can't skip past this. Come on, come on. Curious what's gonna happen if we got it or not. Oh shit, this is new. Hang on a minute. Adine, wait for me. Good job, Prince. Vera, do you know who that is, She doesn't talk much. I think we should go inside. Yeah, probably. Well, see you some other time, Prince. Thanks for coming. Oh shit, so even in this timeline, he met with Vera. Interesting. Interesting. So the pieces are all starting to come together, it looks like. Definitely carries on, you know. Huh. Just rest in my apartment. Skip ahead. Seems we've got some messages. Let's see. Hey, it's me. Do you want to meet up again? I know you're busy, but the summer festival is coming up soon. I'm not saying we should go, but we certainly could if you want to. In any case, call me back when you hear this. Alright. Meet up with Lorem once again. Hey! Hey, Lorem. So this is where you live? You already got a glimpse when you delivered Rez's letter, remember? Yeah, but back then I didn't really notice anything. I was nervous. Why were you nervous? Well, there was the fact that I was going to speak to a human. Plus, I didn't know if you'd actually listen to what I had to say. And then I also wondered if I was going to remember everything I wanted to tell you, or worse, if I'd get thrown out again like when I talked to Raza. You actually talked to Raza? Well, not really. He just took the letter and I had for him and closed the door, but that was before you arrived here. Do you know who sent the letter? It came through the portal, so I assume it was from a human. I see. Oh, that must be the sphere you found. Lauren walked up to the table and picked up the round object I found at the park. Yeah, maybe you can help me find out if it's actually Ipsum's or not. Sure. Looks like it has no battery, though. He turned the sphere a few times and placed it on the base and plugged it in. You have assembled the Oxman sphere. It is spherical. He touched the base in a peculiar way. In response, writing appeared on the sphere's surface. Looks like this really is Epsom's sphere. He'll be relieved to know that it was found. So, what can we actually do with it now? Nothing, really. Unless you know the password, that is. Well, that's a shame. I do happen to know his password, but that's only for emergencies. No playing around with the sphere then. Got it. By the way, did you hear about Epsom? Apparently he's become a witness for a murder case. Oh, I heard about that. Didn't know the witness was Epsom, though. Small world. How can you know about something like that? I've been helping your police for some time now. Really? Oh, so does that mean this has something to do with Roz's disappearance? There's really no use denying it by this point. How long have you been helping the police anyway? Since the day of my arrival, really. Oh wow, I guess it explains why you've been so busy. I imagine you can't talk about it though. I don't really care anymore. Besides, I think it has become common knowledge by this point. You're trying to find Raza, right? Wasn't he your friend? Not sure I'd call him that. Still, he was supposed to be your partner in this, and now he's just gone. I'm more worried about what he's doing right now. Even if we find him, this may put our diplomatic relationship in peril. I guess I shouldn't talk about stuff like that. Why not? It's no use worrying about things that I can't change. Right, just focus on the things you can. That's my philosophy. You know, it's a bit of a shame you didn't want to go to the festival. I already had my fair share of adventure the last time we met. Besides, I should probably lay low for now. You're right, the crowds would probably go crazy if they saw you. We could still watch the big fireworks show together, though. We wouldn't even need to go to the festival grounds to do that. Sure, if you like. It only takes place at the end of the festival, though. When's that? A few days from now. You've been here a few minutes and already want to schedule our next get-together. Get-together? That's an odd way of phrasing it. Would you prefer it if I called it a date? I don't know. It just seems a bit odd to me, considering this all started with me begging you to meet me so I could draw pictures of you. We did that, and then we went treasure hunting, which was your way of saying thanks. What would you call what we are doing right here now, then? Dinner. I invited you for dinner. I'm not seeing anything to eat here, though. Right, that's because I wasn't sure about what's in the kitchen. I also don't know what you like, so let's just order something. There are a few places nearby. Do you have anything in mind? I'm not really in the mood to try something new. Sure, how about pizza? Sounds good. Alright, let's just call Patella's then. They already let us down with the treasure hunt. Why do you think this will be any different? They're the closest, and I haven't ordered from them in ages. Maybe for good reason. If they can't even get the treasure hunt right, I don't want to know what they do to their pizzas. It's just a pizza, Prince. How bad could it be? Alright, if you want to vouch for Patella's, go ahead. Lorem took the sphere from its base and started to manipulate its interface with his fingers. What are you doing? Looking up the menu. I thought using Epsom's sphere was only for emergencies. He went into my room when he was looking for the sphere, and he isn't allowed to do that unless it's an emergency. It's the least he can do, considering you found it for him. Alright. If you don't want pizza, I can just put it back and we can order something else. You already touched the sphere, it's too late to put it back now. If you say so. Let's see, even their smallest pizza is going to be pretty big for me. We could share one. Sure, what toppings would you like? I think I'll go with salad. Salad on a pizza? The new one sounds interesting. I'm gonna say that's a new one. Sounds interesting. Interesting enough to try it? I'll look at the other options first. Alright, what would you like on your half? Pepperoni, grapes, or salad? Pepperoni. Got it. And it's done. The order has been placed. For the next 30 minutes, Lorem showed me many of the other and less useful features of the Oxman Sphere. He made it levitate, showed me a primitive-looking website, and even used it as a voice modulator. I'll get it. Lorem got up and walked to the door. From my place on the couch, I couldn't see anything, but I heard a bit of talking before he returned to me carrying the square box. The flyer who just delivered this. I actually know her. I guess it's not unusual for you to know each other. Your jobs are pretty similar. I suppose. Some things never change in this town. Lorem opened the box and showed me the pizza we had ordered. Memories of days gone by raced through my head. Alright, let's get this party started. Don't we need more people for a party? With pizza, anything's a party. I feel like I haven't had a pizza like this in ages. What are you waiting for then? I took one of the slices. On its surface there was an obvious layer of grease that was sure to stain anything it came in contact with. What do you think? It's been way too long. Guess you don't mind that we got Petelias now, huh? With these words, he grabbed one of the slices on his half and bit into it. After chewing a few times, his expression suddenly twisted into a scowl. Is something wrong? Now I remember why I haven't ordered from Petelias in a while. Their pizza sucks. It's not that bad. Maybe you just haven't had a good pizza to compare it to. Hey, it's still better than nothing. I suppose. By the way, how's your game coming along? I don't know. I feel like I've hit a wall. Why is that? Maybe I got in over my head, you know? The more progress I make, the more it becomes apparent that I'll need a lot more help than I thought. So far, you're the only one who's been working on this, right? Yup, but I'm starting to realize that it won't work out if I continue like this. Why not? It would never be done. Or if it was, it would be very different from what I'd like it to be, so something needs to change. I suppose I'm just worried, because once you start involving other people, things get a lot more complicated. How so? I've always been the odd one out, so I'm not sure how well I could work with a team. You have to find people, work out how to pay them, and how to divide the work. I guess I'm just starting to realize what kind of investment this would actually be. You sounded a lot more optimistic the last time we talked about this. Yeah, it's all fun and games when you're just thinking about ideas that you could turn into a game, but once you actually start working on it, it's a completely different story. At some point, it just becomes another job. Isn't that what you expected? Of course it is. I knew it would be a lot of work, but I guess I'm just not sure if it's all worth it. That depends on why you're making it in the first place. Last time you said that you had nothing to lose either way. Well, maybe I was wrong about that. I do have something to lose. What's that? Myself. I'm not sure if I'm ready to do what is necessary to finish what I started. If you think about it, what's the worst that could happen? Investing a lot of time and money only to end up with nothing in the end. I can end up disappointing those who play the game, those who collaborated with me, and lastly, myself. That's what you're worried about? That's what being a creator is like. If you put tons of work and effort into something, you want people to like it, right? If that's not what's going to happen, why do it in the first place? But you're not doing this for other people, are you? It's your game and your idea, after all. Right, but you're not trying to cater to someone else, so what other people think is not important. Besides, what do you think is outside of your control anyway? Just look at what happened with Petelias. Why do you think their pizza sucks? They probably cut a lot of corners during production with the ingredients. They value quantity over quality, and are only trying to get as many pizzas out as possible to satisfy demand. They are cheap and the pizza tastes like it. Okay, but they are still in business, so this must be working out for them somehow. Even if you don't like it, they're offering something other people clearly want. They probably don't give a damn about whether or not you like their pizza. I'm sure they don't. They just give people what they want, and that's why they stay in business. Are you saying that I won't be successful if I don't cater to others? No, I'm saying that unless being successful is the goal, you don't need to cater to anyone else. Because if you did, you would end up like Petelias, and you really would lose yourself. I guess you have a point. So what if other people like their greasy pizzas? That's not what you want to do. Certainly not. You said yourself that your philosophy is to focus on the things you can change, so what are your options here? A wise person once says, do or do not, there is no try. Not doing this has never been an option for me. Then you make the most of it and nothing else matters. I think you're right. I should just focus on getting things done as best as I can. Who knows, maybe you're wrong about Patalia's. Maybe they're actually a big family restaurant with a rich tradition and history, and that's why people like them. No, I think it's just because they have cheap pizzas. Anyway, there's a good reason for my anxiety. I usually keep to myself, and that's always how I've worked best. If there's one thing that life has taught me, it's that people fear what they don't know. I guess that's an odd thing to say when humans are worshipped by many. Most of them don't actually know any humans, not like I know you. Maybe I should rephrase that. People are afraid of what they don't understand. I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. You know, it can be pretty tough when you're growing up and all the other kids are always bigger than you are. Luckily, that was never a big problem for me. Even in kindergarten, we got told not to make fun of our differences because of how different our species are. It's just odd that for a society that celebrates our differences, there are still things that are too different even for them. When I grew up and went to college, I thought that people would know better than to continue doing those horrible things, but I was ultimately proven wrong. Their bodies may have been those of adults, but their hearts had stayed in the same place they were a decade before. Working on my own has helped, but that is treating the symptom, not the cause of the problem. I can't always just run away, and I'll have to step into the limelight and brave the storm again if I want to finish this game. There's something about me that you don't know. In a way, I owe it to tell you, because you're going to find out sooner or later anyway, and when it happens, it should be on my terms rather than someone else's. What is it? I'm a what the fuck ever. Hermaphrodite? Hermaphrodite? These medical terms, man. I was born with both sets of sex organs, and before you ask, that is not something that is all common in any of our dragon species. In the eyes of some, that makes me a freak of nature, something that needs fixing, or shouldn't exist in the first place. You can tell Get Out, oh my god. Okay, I don't mind. I don't really care what what his sex organs are. I'm not planning on having sex with them. You don't? Sure, some people may think that it's odd, but I don't really care. It's just another part of who you are. Thank you. That's such a big relief. You know, it's not always the bullies who go after me once they know. Too often, it's always been people who I thought were my friends. So whenever I meet another person, I have to prepare myself for this conversation, not knowing whether they will suddenly turn against me when they find out. And the reactions can be very different. Some get angry or make fun of me, others feel betrayed and don't want to have anything to do with me anymore. By now, I think I've seen it all. I'm so glad that you're not like them, but it's always a gamble. Maybe the next person I tell is going to become violent. How can I put myself out there when this could happen wherever I go, you know what I mean? What will people do when they find out about me and my game? I just don't know. That's what I'm worried about. I only wish there was a place where I could be safe from all that, where it just wouldn't matter that this is who I am. If someone like you, someone with the place of authority said something, maybe that could change things. I know you can't interfere with their politics though, you're an ambassador. Doesn't mean I don't have hope that something like that will happen one day. I should probably go now, it's getting late. You've made me feel a lot better though. You told me not to worry about the future, and maybe you're right. Sure, there's still a lot of work ahead, but maybe it's not as hopeless as I thought. It never is. Hey, do you still want to see the fireworks show together? Sure. Alright, just give me a call in a few days so we can discuss the details. I'll do that. Alright, I'll see you then. See ya. Well, that was certainly something. Another free day, yay me. And we're gonna sleep because we're a lazy son of a bitch. Alright, here we go. We're gonna get to see his ending. Yes. Hope. Intuition, Chapter 5. Hold on, I got some tea somewhere around here. I set it down. I'm gonna go grab it. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, the cold feels really good on my throat. It's nice cold iced tea, some ice in it. All right, that's much better. I'm gonna need it so I can voice act this ending here. So yes, Lorem. All right, got his ending in the bag. Now there's only one more character that we need to get his ending for. We need to get Bryce's ending. It's time to go. Oh, I still have Ipsum's Axeman Sphere. I could give it to Lorem when I meet with them. Yes, take the sphere. The sooner Ipsum gets it, the better. I took the sphere and put it in one of my pockets before I headed out to meet Lorem. After a few minutes of walking, I arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. Hey, Lorem. Hey, Prince. You were right. This will be much better than mingling with the crowds. I can do it without all the extra noise and screaming. Yeah. So what are we going to do now? Wait. Oh, I also brought Ipsum's sphere. Maybe it can finally find its way home. Great. Would you mind holding on to it, though? I don't really have a bag or anything to put it in right now. That's alright. Just remind me to give it to you later. Sure. I think it's starting. Look! We were quiet as we waited, and the stillness of the night enveloped us. Soon I heard the sound of the first rocket making its way into the night sky, after which it exploded in a pattern of colors. More rockets followed, their thunderous noise echoing throughout the land. Suddenly, a terrible realization hit me. Considering how public of an event this was, and how I was told multiple times that everyone would be watching the fireworks, now would be the best time for Raza to do anything he planned to do. Not only was the village basically deserted, but the sounds of the fireworks would also overshadow any gunshots, giving him as much security as he would ever have. As the portal had been repaired by the mysterious person I met, now was the perfect time for Raza to make his getaway, and I was the only one who knew. Lorem, I think we need to go, now. What's going on? I know where Raza is. Really? We need to stop him. We? What do you think I can do? He's twice as big as I am. And let's not forget about his weapon. I can try to hold him off. You go and get help. Alright. Wait a minute. Give me the sphere. There you go. I watched as Lorem took the sphere from my hands and slid their fingers over its interface in a peculiar way. After a few seconds, they were done, and the sphere was back in my hands. It might not help you much, but if something goes wrong, just throw it at him. Alright. Where is he, anyway? The underground building. Let's go. I arrived at the portal just a few minutes later. I couldn't help but be glad that it was still turned off and didn't appear to have been used recently, but it meant Raza was still here, somewhere. I looked around, thinking about where he could be or if it was worth waiting for him here when I saw something out of the corner of my eye. Hesitating, I drew nearer. Checked Sebastian for any signs of life and found nothing. However, his body was still warm. Raza was here very recently, but he hadn't used the portal just yet. Why? Sebastian's guard post was not just here for the portal itself, but also the surrounding area. Since Raza was already here, he probably had some unfinished business very close by. The underground building. The administrator had told me about all the prowess of the generators within. It probably hadn't been hard for Raza to guess the same, or to try stealing them from a place he knew would be even more deserted than the rest of the village was right now. He also didn't have far to go from the portal. All things considered, it was the only option that made sense to me. I could have waited for Raza here, but in the end, I decided it would be better to meet him underground. If there was going to be a confrontation, I was sure I would have the advantage in a more crowded space. Even in the darkness, it was easy for me to spot the site where they had unearthed the building's entry, as it was in a roped-off area that I had seen from afar before. When I entered the building, I was met by a long, illuminated hallway that was lined with doors on both sides. Since the lights were already on, Raza had to be very close. I wasn't surprised at the building still having electricity, since its generators were also powering the portal. Suddenly, one of the doors opened, and out came Raza, carrying a large cardboard box. When he spotted me, he sat it on the ground. Prince, you're here. You don't know how glad I am to see you. I've wanted to talk with you for so long. I even tried to contact you, but I couldn't with someone tailing you the whole time. But talking can wait. Now that you're here, we've got everything. Come on, help me with this and let's get out of here. No. No? What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything until you answer a few questions. You want to talk now? Sure, why not? We've probably got a few hours if we wanted to. None of them will disturb us here. We even got the backup generator as well after we send this one over. You know what? I'm not having this conversation with you again. What are you talking about? Your plan, Raza. I know all about it. Great, then stop wasting time and help me with this. I'm not here to help you. This is where it ends. What is your problem, Prince? You know about the comment, so we can't stay here. Just shut up, Raza. I'm not in the mood to talk with you anymore. I don't need to, because your friend has just arrived. Suddenly, Maverick and Lorem appeared next to me. You planned this, didn't you, Prince? Traitor! He pulled out his gun, not sure which one of us he should be aiming at. Just let me go, and I'll forget this thing ever happened. You've got 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you think you can really do that, Raza? Do you think this is worth risking your life for? I've been risking my life for this every day for the last 2 weeks. What did you do during that time? Sip champagne in your nice apartment? Besides, this generator and the whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity. Suddenly, the administrator came out of the shadows in the hallway behind Raza. No, they belong to me. Confused, Raza spun around, aiming his gun at the newcomer who was slowly walking towards him. Who the fuck are you? Freeze! I said freeze! Want to waste your bullets on me? Feel free. You can't stop all of us. If you say so. He pulled the trigger and the administrator fell to the ground with a dull thud that knocked her mask off. My first instinct was to run away, but as Maverick and Lorem started charging, so did I. Raza was quick with his aim and shot at Maverick until he went down. Lorem took flight with a few beats of their wings and was about to collide with Raza, but at the last moment, Raza got out of the way and hit Lorem with a well-aimed kick. Lorem collided roughly with the wall and fell to the ground. Remembering Lorem's words, I took the sphere and threw it towards Raza as hard as I could. At first, it looked as though it was going to miss, but the sphere adjusted its path and flew straight towards him. Raza aimed at me, but the sphere hit him before he could pull the trigger. He lost his balance and stumbled backwards before he fell to the ground. As he got up, I saw that the barrel of his gun was now bent out of shape. When he realized this, he bolted towards the exit. I tried to stop him, but he hit me in the face with his gun's blunt end and ran past me. It took a few seconds until I composed myself and ran after him. As I went up the hill, I saw that Raza was already taking his place while the portal did its starting routine. I ran up to the console and entered a few commands. Raza turned around and saw me. What are you doing? Raza walked off the platform, but I quickly ran around the console and threw my weight against him, just in time for the portal to start teleporting us. Lorem lived to tell the police what had transpired in the underground building. The conversation they had overheard was enough for the dragons to find out about the comet, and with the help of the portal's power source, they were able to divert it. As neither humanity nor the dragons knew where Raza and I ended up, our visit was considered a failure. Humanity has decided that if our visit did not yield any results, they would no longer try their luck with the portal and instead use their remaining energy to hold on as long as they still could. For the dragons, life went on as usual, but for our city, this outcome meant they had to continue their fight on their own. It was an uphill battle that was eventually lost when the city ran out of resources and fell. Damn. That went a lot different than I expected. So I like how my character subconsciously remembered, like, yeah, we've gone through this before, Raza. And he just is like, I'm not gonna have this conversation with you again. That was very unexpected. But it does seem like things are definitely coming together. Like, I saw that Remy meets up with Vera, even though I didn't go after her. I didn't stalk her like I had to do the last time. But, a very interesting outcome, right? Definitely a lot different than the other ones. I was expecting it to pretty much go pretty much like the last two endings, and instead, this was totally different. So, very interesting. And it does kind of make me wonder, would that have gone totally different had that have been the first ending that I went for? Would he have subconsciously remembered as much? I don't know. But either way, it was very interesting the way it kind of turned out. So, where did we end up getting teleported to, though? Right? Did we just end up back in time and this timeline continues as normal? I guess so. Create a hell of a time paradox at this point. We've got like 6 split dimensions at this point. It's pretty messed up. So at this point, though, the only thing that's left before we can unlock the true ending would be to get Bryce's ending. He's the last character that we haven't seen his ending for yet. Okay, something else is happening here. We reappeared on the other side and collapsed to the ground. It was the day of my arrival in the dragon's world, just as I had planned. What the fuck is going on here? Oh, look at what the cat dragged in. You're supposed to be dead. Am I now? You're right, but today is not the day. She held up Rez's head and punched him. His body instantly went limp as he fell unconscious. Good job, Prince. Oh, is that yours? She pointed at an object on the ground behind me. When I turned around, I realized it was the Oxman sphere. Whatever setting Lorem activated had apparently prompted it to follow us, even through the portal. Not exactly. You better hold on to it regardless. Those things are expensive. She walked over to Rez's lower half and started lifting him by the legs. Come on and help me with this. We've got a long night ahead of us. You've seen Lorem's good ending. Alright. The plan. So, at this point... Okay, so, interesting. So, you see the gun at the lower left corner of the screen on the title screen there? Was that there earlier on the last one? Because I don't see Lorem anywhere on the title screen here. What's in the gallery? Picture of Remy. Anna. Lorem. Adine. And there's Kevin at the arcades. So there's still a lot of spaces that are left blank. There's still a lot of things we haven't discovered, apparently. Not sure how to unlock all that stuff, but... Anyway, let's go ahead and start a new game here, and we'll go ahead and save. And then next time, we will go for Bryce's ending. Okay. Alright, so we got that saved. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna call it there, and yeah, next time we should be able to finish this game up, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get the true ending on the next stream as well. So, thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, I'll probably see you guys later if Dark is still up for doing a co-op run of Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. We'll probably play for a couple hours, so we'll see what happens. So I'll potentially see you guys later on today. Take care.